Okay, here we go. Part 2 of Tarquin, the Wonder Horse. So Tarquin awoke the next morning, not in a farmhouse, but in a royal palace. He was taken to Gelder, where a silver bucket was placed before him. He was desperate for a drink. But the bucket was full of ice. "How am I going to drink this?" he asked. "Oh, you can speak," cried Gelder. "I need water, not ice." "Then melt it," shrieked Gelder, "like you melted it yesterday." Tarquin's heart sank. "Think of the posters," cried Gelder. "Is it a horse or is it a dragon? Come and see the only fire-breathing horse in the world. 2 shows nightly." No, thank you," said Tarquin. "I don't do shows." He turned to leave. "Stop him!" yelled Gelder. Tarquin felt the points of a dozen deadly swords. "It wouldn't be safe," he warned. "Things could go wrong." "Rubbish!" At 7 o'clock that night, the crowds assembled in the palace theatre. The band, sitting just in front of the stage, played a few rousing marches, and then the announcer cried, "Ladies and gentlemen, allow me to introduce Tarquin, the dragon horse." On came Tarquin, with a plume on his head and his hooves painted gold. The announcer stood up. "First," he cried, "Tarquin will light the birthday candles." Onto the stage came a small girl carrying a cake with 6 candles. She placed it on the table and stood back. Tarquin drew in his breath. He blew very gently. All 6 candles lit, and the crowd cheered. "Hooray!" Next, 5 unlit torches were brought on, each on its own stand. Tarquin drew in his breath, and he blew. Not so gently this time. All 5 torches lit. The crowd roared, "Hooray! And finally," cried the announcer, "the leap of fire. Not only will Tarquin light the hoop, he will then leap through it." The crowd quietened. An enormous hoop covered in paper was brought on. The drummers began their drum roll. Tarquin drew in his breath. He blew long and hard. Twin blasts of fire shot straight through the hoop of paper to the very edge of the stage. Flames licked the sheets of music the band was playing, and they caught alight. "Fire!" shouted the trumpeter. "Fire!" yelled the tuba player. The royal fire officer rushed in with the buckets and hoses. Water gushed everywhere. Hats were soaked, dresses were drenched, trousers sodden. Every time Gelder opened her mouth to scream an order, she got a jet of water in it. Showers bounced off drums, flutes spouted fountains, the tuba filled up like a giant teacup. Tarquin quietly made his way down the back stairs, out of the palace, and into the night. "That's it," thought Tarquin. "No more getting mixed up with people." He spent that night in the middle of a forest. It was very cold, but in the morning he woke to bright sunshine, and the snow was melting fast. He stretched. It was lovely to feel the warmth on his back. "Oh, what a beautiful morning," he sang. going to drink at a nearby stream. Oh, what a beautiful day! The water tasted good. Behind him, a twig broke. Snap! He swung around. A girl stared. Then, from behind the trees, a boy appeared. The girl said, "I'm Rosanna. He's Paul. Are you a magic horse?" At once, Tarquin was on his guard. "It's just that you've got golden hoofs," said Rosanna. "And a splendid plume," said Paul. Tarquin snorted. "And you sing beautifully," said Rosanna, "so we thought you must be magic." Tarquin pawed the ground. He remembered what he'd decided yesterday. No more getting mixed up with people. But these children didn't seem so bad. "I'm Tarquin," he said. "Please, we need your help," said Paul. He kept looking behind him. For the first time, Tarquin noticed they were frightened. Suddenly, there was a great roar. 71, 72, I'm getting hungry! The children clung to each other. "It's the ogre," they sobbed. "There isn't much time," said Rosanna urgently. "We're supposed to be hiding. The ogre wanted to play hide and seek before breakfast." "Well, that sounds fun," said Tarquin. "That's a good game." "It isn't," cried Paul. And then Tarquin realised it wasn't a game. The children were the ogre's breakfast. 98, 99, 100. "You could save us," begged Rosanna. "You could carry us away." "Ready or not," roared the ogre. He's coming, screamed Paul. "Jump on my back," cried Tarquin. Rosanna and Paul leapt up just as the ogre crashed into the clearing. Tarquin was away. Behind them came a howl of rage. "Ah, you won't get far!" The ogre set after them, covering the ground in mighty strides. "Faster," urged Rosanna, "faster!" But Tarquin couldn't. The forest was too thick. He had to look for paths between the trees. The ogre was gaining on them. If anything got in his way, he simply struck it to one side. Rosanna glanced behind. He was almost on them. "Oh, Tarquin, I wish you could fly." At that moment, Tarquin swerved to avoid a rabbit hole. Rosanna clutched at his newly growing mane. A single strand of hair came loose. Tarquin's shoulder muscles slowly rippled outwards, on and on, until they weren't muscles at all, but huge silver wings. Up, up soared the horse and the children, leaving the ogre crashing with anger down below. Over the forest they flew, and away. Rosanna leaned forward. "There," she cried. "Can you see? By the lake at the foot of the mountain. That's our village." As they flew closer, people came running out to greet them. Tarquin landed softly. The children tumbled off. "Tarquin," whispered Rosanna, leading him forward to meet her family and friends. "You're a wonder." Tarquin still lives in the village. He helps with the ploughing and the haymaking. He's a strong and willing worker. He keeps the ogre away. No one ever dreams of plucking out a strand of his mane. Well, except the children, of course, just now and then. The end. Well, that was a good story, wasn't it? And it just goes to show that sometimes when you wish for things too much, they don't always turn out the way you expect or the way you want, or even in a very nice way. But very nice that Tarquin got a happy ending, got a family and a home of his own, which is really nice, isn't it? So anyway, Rusty and I off for another game, aren't we? And we will see you next week for another story. Have a great week. Enjoy yourselves. Do all your work, but remember to have fun too. Okay? So from me and Spider Dog, see you next week. Bye.